This is the 2020 Audi Q8, and I want to show you guys all around it, inside and out, and take you on a ride in one of the most beautiful driving coupe SUV sort of deals that's made. This is a fantastic car, so come check this out. The Audi Q8 is the top of the line trim in the Audi SUV lineup. This is the S line, so it's got sporty trim, red brake calipers, stuff like that. It's all blacked out. It's a very sharp looking design. You could get an SQ8 on top of this. That's the performance version. This has decent power, but it's not a barnstormer like the SQ8. The design is very coupe-like SUV. It's not squared off in the back. It's extremely good looking in my opinion. It takes the kind of, I wouldn't say mundane, but average luxury SUV styling of the Q7 and slopes it back in the rear, and it really makes it attractive. Now, in the back here, it still looks great. One complaint with the styling is it does have fake exhaust outlets. The exhaust comes out just underneath there. I had it up in the air on my lift, and I do not understand why they wouldn't just run it out the rear. The SQ8s are ran out of the rear. Why, Audi? Why? This does have, I actually just installed it, a tow package. And this thing is rated to tow, I believe, 7,500 pounds, which is quite impressive for a crossover SUV. Alright, as you walk up, you'll immediately notice that this interior it's pretty much just gorgeous. The styling is great. Now we'll hop in. Okay, there we go. Now you can configure this instrument panel. Right now I have it on Maps, and this uses, I believe it's Google Maps. It is super clear, crisp, and the responsiveness is perfect. Now you can reconfigure, like you can make your instruments larger and the navigation smaller. I kind of like having the navigation on. You can switch, that tells you speed limit, traffic signs, and you can actually go into information of the vehicle. It's got coolant temp or oil temp there, into your presets, and you can have quite a few presets on your stereo here. Telephone, then back to navigation. The controls are really easy to use right off the steering wheel here. You can see this will change the view mode. Traffic signs, yeah, you go through. So you can toggle back and forth with these arrows. And then you can zoom. There's a scroll wheel here. You can zoom in and out, and that'll also go through when you're going through menus. And then you can push it in to select different things. You have your radio volume here, your phone controls, all pretty much standard stuff in the industry. It does have paddle shifters here and there. You've got dual screens here and a lot of piano black, but in this instance it looks very high quality and makes the dash seem very seamless all the way across. Now we're at the home screen here. You've got radio, media, phone, all of these different things that you'd see on most different setups here. News, weather, messages. The infotainment screen is extremely quick to respond. We just switched to radio there. I better turn that down. Bluetooth. There's your telephone. And then back to the navigation system. You can twist, twirl, move this around, and it acts instantly without any hesitation. It's really quick to respond. I'm very impressed by that. So here we have our seat controls on this screen, and you've got quite a few other, you can do quick presets on here. I've got seat on it, and okay, this will be my biggest complaint with this vehicle. you've got a regular shifter here, and it looks average like any other car. You've got drive down here, and then once you're out of drive, you push forward into reverse. Now the thing is, if you're unfamiliar with this style shifter and you're not really thinking, it's just an average day and maybe your head's a little cloudy and you just throw it forward thinking you're in park, it'll be in reverse and it's a little uncomfortable. But so there's this fancy dancy park button on the side, and there's no warning when you're in reverse to tell you, hey, that you're not in park. It'll just continue rolling. But as far as complaints, that's a pretty minor one. I think the more you drove this vehicle, the more acquainted with it you'd get and more comfortable. You've got a pretty standard electronic parking brake. It's really easy to flip, pull, and that works just fine. Now our cameras, the cameras in this car are fantastic. You've got your above view 360 camera. You've got a rearward facing camera. We've got frontward. We can look, yeah, there it's kind of fisheyed. There's above, rear, fisheyed. There it's kind of, I think that's by the tire there, yep. More rear tires. Now this is one of the coolest modes. Here we can go into 3D mode, and it does a 3D, like, it looks like a cartoon version of the Q8, and it's very accurate, and brake lights come on when you're driving. I don't know if it'll allow me to. Okay, so it doesn't want me to go all the way around that way. But here it is. Let's drive forward. Look at that. I'm driving an animated Q8. I love that. I mean, it's a gimmick, but as far as gimmicks go, that's a pretty good one. Now we're backing up. Same deal. There goes the Q8. And all the lights and everything that happened in the car will happen to that animated version of the car. So those are the cameras. That's most of the interior things I'll show you. We can do, there's all sorts of stuff. Audi Drive Select you can change. There's off-road, all-road comfort, auto dynamic, individual you can set. It's got air suspension you can raise and lower. All sorts of stuff. There's seat controls and how it works. It's got massaging functions, your climate control, where it comes out of what vent. There's a fragrance spray. Then we have lighting and visibility. Exterior lighting you can just toggle on, automatic headlights, daytime running lights, that sort of thing. Interior lighting, you can actually change what kind of lights are on at nighttime in the interior. We have this on Maritime. It's really cool with the blue. I like that. And it'll come on in the Maritime. When you open the door, it first lights up as red, and then it switches to blue. It's really cool. Lots of choices, and you can adjust the brightness. At nighttime, this thing really glows. It's pretty amazing. Rain sensing, wipers. You've got auto dimming headlights, lane centering. Nowadays it's pretty standard. I'm kind of a old car guy, and it's not that standard to me, so it's a little bit of a treat. Tells you your altitude in the map. It's really pretty amazing. This does have, he said it was like a $5,000 option, the Bang & Olufsen stereo. These speakers, I'll see if I can get them to go down. again, a gimmick, but as far as gimmicks go, that's a pretty good one. And the stereo sounds incredible. And here we have, with the screen off, you can see all my greasy fingerprints, but it's a pretty seamless dash all the way across, all black, and it looks very good in this application. I'm very impressed. In the rear, we have another climate control setting. That's pretty much it. There's a couple of USB outlets there, but it's mostly just climate controls back here. But they do have them all over the place. Car does have a nice panoramic sunroof. Now I'm 6'6", and I want to see, I've got the seat set in my position. I want to see if I can sit behind myself. And ooh, it's a little tight on my legs, but to be honest, I have the seat reclined quite a ways because I'm a very large guy. If there was somebody around 6 foot, I think if this was tilted forward about an inch, I would fit. Headroom is fine unless I'm wearing a helmet or something. No real issue with headroom, even though the roof line slopes back. It's rubbing the very top of my messy hair, and I'm pretty okay with that. It's a very comfortable place to be. The windows have shades on them. They're automatic. When you roll down the window, the shade will roll down. It'll roll back up with the window. That's kind of a nice feature. Everything is suede lined in here, all the trim. Very nice. Another feature of this car I love is when you open the door, the window will slide down a little bit. And if you look at the door frame, it's a frameless door. No frame. This is how every single car should be. Why can't every manufacturer do this? It's elegant, it's beautiful, and it's a lot easier when you're getting in and out. There's no frame to run into. It's a far better design in my opinion. Every manufacturer should have that. Here we have auto lift gate. Nice and easy. Plenty of cargo room. Again, it's a slope back, kind of coupe or coupe styling, so it is a little bit compromised, but you know, for the average family, this is going to be more than enough. Here we have the giant 22-inch wheels with 6-piston front calipers. Then on the rear, the brakes are massive, but they are only single piston in the rear. The Q8, I believe that would get 4-piston or 6-piston in the back. Under the hood, we have the 3-liter turbocharged V6. This engine is a hot V, so if you are a mechanical guy like me, that's a little bit interesting. A lot of modern luxury and German cars especially are going with this hot V design, where the exhaust ports come out of the center of the where the intake valley would be normally, and the intake ports come up where the exhaust ports would be on a typical V style engine. Can't see a whole lot underneath the hood. It makes pretty good power. I believe it's 3 something. I'll put the specs below. And acceleration is good. It's not barnstorming, but it has no problem accelerating. It's very smooth, torquey, pretty impressive little 3-liter power plant. You can see there's intercoolers behind the bumper vents. Again, the beautiful front end. I love the aggressive styling. Here's the other intercooler. Another feature I love is the 4-wheel steering on this car. Now it steers to about 5 degrees. I'll turn the steering wheel here. You might not notice the wheel turn too much, but you'll see the car move a little bit. It's just a hair. But in a tight parking lot, it makes all the difference. The steering's all electric on this, but the weighting's really nice. But the 4-wheel steering is a really great feature. here you can see how tight it steers with four-wheel steering. The turning radius is incredible. This gets 2 thumbs up from me. Alright, we're here in the garage with the 2020 Audi Q8 S-Line. So this Q8, it has four-wheel steering. You can see there's the actual motor, and it pushes on this control arm wishbone, and that'll push and pull the rear end over. And that's where it moves, right there at that joint. All air suspension all the way around. Big muffler in the back. This has the 3-liter V6 with a turbo. Big wheels on the S-Line, they're 22s, but it still has single piston brake calipers in the back. Brakes are quite large, but just single pot. But in the front, looks like, I believe those are 6 piston calipers in the front. They're quite large. Double wishbone uppers. There's your airbag. Quite a machine. Alright, come on in guys. Let's go for a drive. Alright, here we are driving the 2020 Audi Q8. And it is really a great place to be. This car is very silent going down the road, and has so many great driver's features, it makes it just easy to eat up miles with. Performance is pretty good. You can put this in sport mode. It really tightens up the shifts and kind of bangs through the gears, and the torque from the 3-liter V6 is pretty impressive given its power output. It comes off the line very nicely. It's not a performance SUV, even though it's got sport trim, but it gives you enough power to have fun with. And the feedback with the electric power steering, feedback is pretty good. It's got the 4-wheel steering, as I was talking about, so the handling, especially around very tight corners, it's incredible. This is a very nice handling SUV, especially given its size. The ride quality, it's got air suspension on it, so it rides very nice. It's a luxury SUV, just like as you would expect. But this is one of the better interiors that I've been in a long time. Everything the user interface is great. It's really intuitive. It took me just a few minutes to kind of get situated in the vehicle and kind of figure out what does what. So as far as a highway driver, it's great. It's really good. I think if you were to do a cross-country road trip with this, with the family, you would have no problems. This thing would just tear up the entire continent. Very impressed by that. And all the seat features, the massaging and all of that, when you're driving, it makes it very comfortable. I believe, yeah, the seats are ventilated along with heated steering wheel, which is all, nowadays you can get that on a Ram pickup truck or a Ford or a Chevy pickup truck. But it really is very comfortable. The sound system is great. I can't put on any music for you guys, but it's a very good sound system. Now we've got it in drive. I can shift one more click. That puts it in sport. I've got it in sport comfort mode, so the ride quality is really good. But in sport mode, it's hard to show on camera, but it'll bang through the gears a bit more, holds out the gear changes. I think this is probably one of the nicer interiors within the segment. The Mercedes interior looks really great, but they pretty well nailed it out of the park with this Q8. The map is nice. The navigation system has got to be one of the best in the business. With Google Maps, it's really quick to respond. All the lakes are labeled on the map. Everything, it's really great. And then again, you can switch through. If it was nighttime, you'd be able to see that this thing has night vision camera on it, which is Again, it's a gimmick, but a very cool gimmick as far as gimmicks go. And it might be helpful with deer, spotting deer at night. All right, now we're driving, and I'm on a back county road. It is a little bit snowy and slushy. But with the Quattro all-wheel drive, they're kind of known to be, Audi has kind of had a great all-wheel drive setup for years, and this thing sticks, even with these really wide 22-inch wheels, this thing will stick really good even in these slick conditions like this. I can't really, I'm trying to get into the handling a little bit. I want to be a little bit cautious, but for such a large SUV, this thing throws its weight around like it's half its size. And it's still comfortable. Remember, I'm in sport comfort mode, so the air suspension it's not firmed up. It's in the nice cushy riding position. I'm gonna change the view. I really like that map view where it looks like you're above everything. That's very nice. And it's got the lane centering, it shows you there. And if you can see it in the daylight, our heads-up display here, it shows lane centering, mile per hour, and the speed limit, which I'm exceeding. But very nice. And the lane centering is really good. Even though these roads are icy and slick, it's still kind of telling where the white line and the center line is. So as I'm filming this, and I'm not the most attentive person on earth, it's doing a good job of bringing me back in check. And it does a little vibration to let you know, hey, you're screwing up a little bit. So that's a really great feature. This has so many nice driving features. Again, for a sporty, luxury, full-size crossover SUV, this is this would probably be my pick. I am really impressed by styling, comfort, performance. I don't know how reliability would be over in the long term, but I can't imagine it'd be that bad if you can keep on top of it. I just did a trailer hitch install on this for my friend, and it was pretty straightforward. I had never touched, even a Q7 I have never pulled the rear bumper off of, so I was kind of new as far as Volkswagen Audi products, tearing it apart, and it was pretty straightforward and easy. I was just very cautious on all the clips, panels, and all that, but it was pretty straightforward and easy. I was impressed. The hardest part was that it takes special software to program the computer for the trailer module, but otherwise it was very easy. The Lamborghini Urus, that's a vehicle that's based off of this Q8 that came out at the same time, and mechanically they share most components. The heads-up display is really crisp and clear. Some modern cars aren't as nice as this one when it comes to heads-up display. I used to have a 1996 Pontiac Bonneville SSEI Supercharged that had heads-up display on it in 1996. I don't know why it's taken so many manufacturers so long to come out with it. That worked really well in 96, and here we are 2020. I mean, and now a lot of companies, and it's luxury companies, there's not a ton of average sedans and crossover SUVs that have it. Why not? If they were able to do it in the 90s with pretty low tech compared to now, why can't they do it now? And I think we'll see more and more of it as a trickle-down effect from vehicles like this and other cars in the luxury segment that have heads-up display. GM has had it for quite some time. But this is pretty good. I wouldn't mind even more information on the heads-up display. I mean, speed limit and speed and lane centering, but it'll show your headlights at night, whether you're in auto or their high beams are on, whatever. But it wouldn't be bad. I don't know if the SQ8 has like boost pressure on it or something like that, but that would be pretty cool to have, like boost pressure or a little mini tachometer. Features like that on the heads-up display would be really great. And the shifter when you're driving, I was complaining about it earlier with the park button. But when you're driving it, it's really nice. It's really nice because it's like a rest for your hand. It doesn't move around when you're driving, only when you're selecting different gears. So you can use it to go on the screen, and I can adjust all these different features right here on the screen. So that's a pretty nice feature. And you can bang it into like drive. You can put it into there. I've got it in sport mode, and you can slide it over for manual, and you can use the paddle shifters to select gear, and it tells you your gear on there. So overall, that's a driving of the Audi Q8, and in my opinion, this thing gets 2 thumbs up pretty much all around. My only complaint is that park button on the shifter. I love the styling. This car drives fantastic. And I want to show you a few night features while we have it here. Now come on over, and if you look at the ground here when I open the door, you'll see the puddle lights light up. Now come over to the interior here. We have mood lighting. You can see the lines in the interior. And when I go to start the vehicle, the mirrors are automatic. The headlights, they're laser leveled, and the lighting changes color. Now we have a nice red, and it switches to blue. There's still red over there. Now it's switched all to blue. It's quite beautiful. Now I'll show you guys around the interior. Look at the blue lighting. The blue accents are great. The Audi logo, the 4 rings. Okay, let's turn our auto headlights on. Auto, there we go. We are on brights. Now hopefully we can find a car.
This car really is fantastic.
It is quite fantastic. And it automatically dimmed. I did not hit a thing. And look, it brightened right back up. Love that feature. That's really great. I know some older American cars like Cadillacs in the 1960s had it, the electronic eyes, and American luxury cars. Oh, now it's telling me there's a foot icon coming up on the heads-up display because I was exceeding the speed limit and the accelerator vibrated slightly. And now as I slow down, it should go away. The brights come back on. So, very intuitive heads-up display. Let me push the nav button here and see what that has. And I believe these use Google Maps. And it is a really cool, and it shows the stars in the sky because it's nighttime. It's beautiful. The resolution on all of this is fantastic. So it pulls up right in your center view. That's beautiful. Well done, Audi. It automatically is correcting where I'm driving. And it didn't do it that way, but let me see if it does it to the side of the road again. Yep, automatically cranked me back over. On the frontal camera, you can see there's snow falling right now. It's really high definition. I'm surprised. Another cool feature, it has night vision. Now, it's not the best definition. Here, I'm turning a little bit, but there's a couple parked cars in front of us. There's a Cadillac CTS right here. So I'll pull forward, and it's defined the entire car. You can kind of make it out. I'm really impressed by that. You can see the car on the actual screen, a white CTS. Now let's throw it in park. All you do, you can see my dirty finger here. Boom. It's in park. And you can see the snow falling again. I'm impressed. Here, we'll kind of show you the headlights while they're still on. And yep, they fade out. They're sequential, so they go from the edge and then in. I'm going to have my assistant stand here while I turn the headlights back on. Hopefully you're able to see that on camera, but they went from being up high and they went low. They automatically lowered themselves. And then we've got multiple different LED accents. Here we see the lights do their little dance and they're out. There goes the rear. Alright guys, so that's a wrap on the 2020 Audi Q8. In my opinion, this is a fantastic luxury sports crossover, almost a coupe. It's one of the best in the market. I'm really happy with this car. Hope you guys liked it. I want to thank my friend Bill for letting me borrow the car and work on it. I recorded some footage of installing the trailer hitch. Hopefully I'll have a video up soon for that as well. Overall, great car. If you like what you saw or you didn't like what you saw, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe if you did like it. We could really use the help. So I thank you guys for watching so much. You guys have a good one. Take care.